than the organic response, which had originally greeted Tim Walz and his framing of the race. So according to Politico, quote, after he was selected in early August, Harris was not yet doing interviews, and aides did not want Walz to get out ahead of her, several former campaign aides said. Harris and Walz would not appear together for their joint interview with CNN until 3 weeks later. Even into October, the Washington Post described him as a, quote, surprisingly bubble-wrapped campaigner. And as for his signature framing of Republicans as weird, quote, there were also efforts to curb some of his signature lines, including casting Trump and Republicans as weird, which slipped out of Walz's speeches. Quote, he was encouraged to stop focusing on the weird criticism, said another former Harris aide. I think it is fair to ask whether, even if weird wasn't quite right, his instinct about how to approach Trump to make him seem small and a huckster wasn't closer to correct than the more self-serious tone that may have made us sound too in defense of the status quo. Now, in an interview with Politico himself, Walz slams the play it safe tactics, which led them to position the campaign as if they were sitting on a big lead rather than desperately trying to pull off an upset. Quote, we shouldn't have been playing this thing so safe. I think we probably should have just rolled the dice and done the town halls where voters may say, you're full of shit. I don't believe in you, Walz continued. I think there could have been more of that. We, as a party, are more cautious and engage in the media, both mainstream and non-traditional, Walz said. And during the 2024 campaign, he said, in football parlance, we were in a prevent defense to not lose when we never had anything to lose because I don't think we were ever ahead. Now, one thing you can say about Trump is he is happy to tell campaign consultants and other advisors to piss off. If he tests a line out on the campaign trail and it gets a big response, he goes with it. He's got a gut instinct about these things, yes, but he also buys much more into the wisdom of the crowd than what some focus group poll-tested suit tells him he should be saying. Walz actually had a similar approach. He didn't just invent weird for the Kamala campaign. He had done a bunch of town halls. He talked to voters all around Minnesota, and that was the Trump characterization that he found really worked. So he brought it to the national stage, and it immediately hit. Bernie actually has a similar approach. He's not out there checking his lines over with a pollster. He's getting rock star receptions, leaning into the same message that has resonated with Americans he's spoken with for over 50 years. Now, it helps that they both seem like they actually believe in something, too. There's new data that should further strengthen Democrats' resolve to get rid of all of these arrogant, grifting, idiotic consultants who think that they know better. A recent Yale study found they literally don't. Random people do just as well predicting what political messages will resonate as do paid political professionals. These people, they are literally worthless. You would be just as well off to throw darts at a dartboard and pick your policies as to listen to these people. Now, there are signs that Walz remains one of the Democratic Party leaders with the best instincts in the country. In a recent interview with Molly Young-Fast, he told her that Democrats need to stop messing around with small ball and actually give voters real change they can sink their teeth into. Take a listen.
Look, I hear the thing out there is that when we get back, which we'll fight, I'll tell you what people are going to expect is they're not going to expect us to tinkle around the edge with the ACA. They're going to expect universal health care. And if there's a lesson here, I always said this, we had a 1-vote majority in Minnesota when we moved clean energy, we moved reproductive rights, we moved a whole slew of progressive, very popular, including things around guns and gun safety, very popular things. We moved it with a 1-vote majority. And people ask, well, what do you call a 1-vote majority? A majority. Simple as that.
Now, if you need a demonstration of how popular that message is, how much energy there is behind it, just behold the response to an 83-year-old Bernie Sanders who's been hosting overflow crowds on top of overflow crowds in Midwestern swing districts. It's actually insane. Biden's average crowd, as pointed out here, when he was president and running for re-election, was 1,300. Here is Bernie in Warren, Michigan on a random March day, attracting more than 10,000 people. Now, as far as his 2028 plans goes, Walz is playing coy, keeping his options open. I think opening up about the Harris campaign's failures, albeit in a diplomatic way, is definitely step one. Getting back out there on the road for town halls in districts where Republicans are too scared to show up is step two. And then we'll see. My man definitely does need to work on his debate skills, but if he ditches the consultants, leans into his instincts to be visible and to be bold with his economic agenda, he might still yet be the future of the Democratic Party. And I mean, this is the big thing for him, is people are going to be terrible.
Hey guys, if you want to see what I had to say to Crystal's monologue, not just this one, all of them, going back to the very beginning, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com.